Now, if your hot tub's not heating, these are the things you can check out. If you have an SN code, sometimes you'll have a SL1, SL2 code, SN3 code, or if your top side's flickering a bit, or the temperature goes up one day and then it goes down, it's not staying consistent, or just can't reach up to heat. These are the things you can check for. Now, you got the high limit and then you have your temp probe. It'll give you a different, sometimes you got an HL. You just got to figure out which one's your high limit, which one's your temp probe. Normally the temp probe will be in the side of your tub. So you'll have something similar to this. You have one that goes to by the heat tube or over to the side into the plumbing, and then one will go into your tub normally. Or you could have an older tub where this one could be on the back side. A lot of times you can't see it. They'll have a plate in the bottom with a nut, and it'll be screwed right against it on the back side of the heat tube. So that's why you can't see it. A lot of times you got to take these doors off and it'll be plugged in, and you got to follow the wire, see where it's going to go. Okay, so here I have a one from, normally they're separated, like this one here, the Balboa has two separated for your high limit and your temp probe. So it'd be like sensor A, sensor B, or SN1, SL2. Sometimes on your schematics you'll have SN1, SN2, and these are all separated. Now if you ever have to replace any of these, especially the heat tube sensors, there's little tags on them, tell you exactly all information on it. Even this one's a 12-inch. You can get up to a 24-inch. So all information if you have to get one. Okay, but this particular one, it's all together, so you would have to buy the whole assembly for it. There's so many different packs out there, so many different companies that do spa packs. So I'm just gonna have the general idea on what to look for and what is the high limit. If you're having an HL code or SN1 code or any type of code for heating, if you're having a heating issue, this is another thing you can check for. If you've went through where, your pump, your fuses. So this is just another thing to look for is your sensors. Now, like I said, there's so many different packs out there. This might not apply to yours, but it will have a temp probe, and it'll have a high limit probe or some kind of high limit for it. Now this particular pack, which is the Gecko, this is a newer style. So if you need this is the high limit, and it's just a strip that kind of goes right on the heat tube, and it kind of holds itself underneath. So that's a high limit. Normally you'll have a probe. So like I said, depends on your spa pack. Now this particular one, which is the Gecko, if it comes up in HL code, more than likely it's a high limit issue. Again, you got to check the pump to make sure if everything's working fine and you're just getting an HL. If you're getting water pushing through your heat tube, more than likely it's going to be your high limit. So this particular one you can replace. The Balboa you can replace. There's sensor A, sensor B. Now you can replace these also for your high limit. So normally on the Balboa, it'd be the high limit on the right, temperature on the left. So, but on this particular one, you can change it out. But there's a lot of them that the high limit's built right into the motherboard. So you're gonna have to replace the whole motherboard. But I would say most of them, you can replace any of the sensors right off them. So remember, if you have HL code, S1, sensor SNA, SNB, or SN1, SN2, normally it'll tell you exactly where it is. If you have an SN, maybe it's probably not a sensor. The sensor's just telling you that there's a sensor issue. So if you have just an SN, it could be just a filtration issue. It could be a clogged filter. maybe your circ pump's not working, so check your pump. Like I said, you have to make sure before you change or test these sensors, you gotta make sure that you have normal flow through the tub. Pull a filter, see if that changes the code at all. Check your fuses if your pump's not working for the pump that's actually pushing the water through here. So if you have another pump that's not even connected to this heat tube, it will have no connection to the errors that are on the top side. No connection whatsoever. It's going to be connected to your flow, so it's going to be from your filter down to your pump and then through the heat tube and then out. So if you have, usually it's pump 1, so if you have pump 1 and you hit it on high speed and it's normal flow going out, then it's probably a sensor issue. Now, if you feel that pushing the pump 1, you feel that the flow is just not there, then pull your filter. So if you pull your filter, maybe it's clogged. Maybe, you know what, you could have cleaned it. The fibers get really clogged up in there, even if you've cleaned it off. Maybe you had it for a few years. But you can only clean those filters so much, and at some point you're gonna have to get a new one. It just gets clogged up. There's nothing you can do. So make sure when it's running, see if it makes a difference that way too. Pull the filter, turn back on pump 2 on high speed, or sorry, pump 1 on high speed. See if that makes a difference on the flow. If it makes no difference, then keep the filter out, go to the next thing. Go to the pump that's actually pushing the water through the heat tube. Just, if you're not sure, then just follow the heat tube, wherever your heat tube is. Maybe this heat tube is separated from the spa pack, but find the heat tube. Maybe your heat tube doesn't look like this. It could be a skinnier one, whatever. You could have a smaller little pump that's about like that big. You might have a bigger one. But it's whatever pushing through the stainless steel piping, follow that back, and you're gonna run into the pump, either a small one or you're gonna have a bigger one. So make sure that pump, when you follow it back, make sure that pump's working fine. Like if you feel, check it. It might be sitting in the back of the pump where you can't actually see it. You'll have a little tiny pump in the back, or maybe a bigger one. A lot of times the packs are in front of it and you can't see. You're gonna have to try to get back there and take a look at if there's any issues with the pump. Make sure it's running fine. The top side will normally tell you exactly what it is. So again, if it's SN, if it's just an SN, it's going to be a flow issue. More than likely, it's not going to be a sensor issue. Now, if it has an SN1, just check your booklet, because not every hot tub's the same. Sometimes you'll have SNA or SNB. So on the Balboa, some of them will just have the Balboa. If it says SN, it's going to be a circulation issue. If SN1, it's going to be sensor 1. Normally it's this side. And then sensor 2, it's going to be on this side. Or AB. Sometimes you'll have SNA, SNB. Or it will tell you high limit. So normally a high limit is on the right. Temp probe is on this side here. Now, for a Balboa, and a lot of the other ones too, the Balboa is the easiest to test for the sensor, just because they're right there. Other spas, they might have a little short cord that might be like that long. It's kind of hard to test when it's plugged in and it's on the back side, and you know, there's not much room. And then you might have the other one that's in the tub and you can't pull it out, because if you pull it out, it's just gonna drain. So it's kind of hard to test those unless you pull that one out and stick one, you know, brand new back in right away. But the easiest ones to test are the Balboa. And even then it's tough, because if it's full of water, it has to be full of water. So to pull these out, water's going to fly right out. You don't want to pull this out when it's full of water. Even if you have the shut-offs, you're going to have to loosen this off so this drains out a bit, because this will be it'll be all like pressurized in there. And even if you pull one, even if you close it off, the night valves, it's just going to be it's going to fly out of here, and it's just going to get on the board, and it's going to, you won't notice it. When you turn it on, it's going to fry it. Now, if you've determined that it's a sensor problem, you're gonna have to get yourself a new sensor. So all the information's right on the tags on each one you need to get. So on the Balboa, both of them are exactly the same, just that one's shorter than the other. And then some of them will have, it's all connected to one connection. So you're gonna have to get this. And again, all information's right on it if you need the sensor. So when you get that, what you do is you take, you plug it into the tub, wherever the connections are for this one here. Don't take it out. Have the power on, have the water in it. Okay, so to test it, some packs you can't test because you got the high limit for this, for the Gecko. You have the high limit, so it's kind of hard to test that because it's meant for going on here, not for dipping in water. So we're gonna use the other probes. We can use water. So we're just gonna, you take the water, take 2 cups from the hot tub and have the power on. We'll turn the power off, put the new sensors in. You have the new sensor. So this particular one might apply to you, but general idea. And then the Balboa has 2 sensors. So you would plug it into the pack and then you take the 2 probes and just stick it in the water. And then turn the power back on and see if you have that code back that comes back on. The temperature in between both of them should be within 2 degrees, 2-3 degrees. Okay, so same water, same hot tub, same temperature, coming from the same hot tub. Put your probes in, you plug it in, and if the sensor goes away or the error code goes away, then you know it's the sensors, and then you can isolate it to take the sensors off or drain it. Like a lot of tubs, like if this style here, it's in your tub, so just drain it down. If you figured it out that it's the sensors, just drain a tub. Just the safest way of doing it. Even if you isolate the Balboa one, a lot of times the water will just spray up in here because a lot of those knife valves fail all the time. Now, if this video helped you out at all, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to us, and then we'll see you on the next one.